Hopefully you can hear me now. Fantastic. We back, baby. We back. Yeah. Alhamdulillah, we back. Fantastic. We back. So, obviously, I was meant to do this stream yesterday. Or about 2 days ago, when the interview dropped, or when the snippet of Marcus's interview dropped with my TV. I was meant to react to it, but I didn't have the time or chance to do it. So obviously I had to watch the game yesterday, second half, and don't know, I'll leave it till today, so I'll do it today. But it's interesting, you know, the focus just seems to be on one guy. You know, it's not even a bad thing, because that's his brand now. So it might not be a world-class player, but on paper he's the biggest superstar that's come off this current generation. Is bigger than every single one of the England players. Is bigger than, when it comes to socially. I'm not talking about football in general. I'm talking life in general. He's done more for this country than any other footballer you can think of. You know, him and Gary Neville, they're up there in terms of off the pitch stuff. You know, but yeah, he did a little interview about, I think 11 minutes long or 12. Then boom, social media exploded. Top Reds were rattled. Top Reds getting angry left and right, and you know, we all know why they get angry when Marcus speaks up, because we all listen to what he's got to say. Even if you don't like him, you still watch him. And this is what's happening now. Even though he's gone to Barca, we still watch him from a United point of view, because a lot of us, maybe most of us, want him to succeed, but Top Reds don't want him to succeed. Top Reds, they want him to fail, because they look at him as a reflection of their own life, because obviously they missed out, or they failed in their come-ups when they were playing footballers, whatever. They're trying to become professional footballers, and he's one of the, you know, 0.00.2% that made it out of the hood and succeeded in playing for his boyhood club. So how can you hit that? Someone from your hands, someone that probably grew up watching you guys play football, played alongside you guys, some of you guys. But Top Reds, they rattled, bro, and we're here for it. I love it. I love seeing Top Reds rattled by Marcus Rashford. I love nothing better. And it didn't even say anything wrong. It didn't say anything wrong that we've not said as fans. As football fans, we've all said Manchester United is the most inconsistent team post Fergie. The players are the most inconsistent players. They could come to United as superstars, but or world-class players, they turn into some average Joe. Why is that? So Marcus is saying, I've not even listened to the full, I've not listened to the interview, I've just read online what people are crying about, what they're crying about. But there are things I want to sort of like just contribute to that, because listen, nothing, I was on the hate train for Marcus, I'm not gonna lie. Like a year ago or so, listen to people like Roy Keane, Gary Neville, Paul Scholes, Dean Saunders, a lot of them. You know, them guys that don't have a clue what's going on in your community. They just sit there and just, you know, because they played football, obviously they were successful during their times. But the criticism of Marcus Rashford became more than just football. So it turned into a thing where I could literally see what they're doing, trying to ruin his reputation, his image, whatever. You know, the kid is not allowed to go out with his mates. He shouldn't drive fancy cars. He shouldn't live in a mansion. He shouldn't go out to eat with his mates or girlfriend or family. He shouldn't buy houses for his mom, or he shouldn't build or buy a whole estate of houses in Manchester where he grew up, where he was born. You know, he's got no life. So whenever I try to live as a normal person, which is, by the way, is not normal because he's a superstar. Superstars are not normal people. But when he tries to engage, like go out clubbing, go to the club, blah blah blah, and it became a story. It becomes everyone's story. Everyone will talk about it. Everyone will bash him. Everyone, especially the pundits, they hate Rashford. You see that some of them, they've asked him for interviews and he's refused to talk to them, and he doesn't want to say much to them. The only pundit I probably, or ex-footballer I've got so much respect for, is probably Gary Lineker, because the way he looks at football, he looks at it completely different. He's got nothing to gain from. He doesn't have to say bad word about He doesn't have to say bad word about anyone. If you listen to his podcast, right, Gary Lineker, the man does not say anything bad about people to get views. You know what? That's actually, yeah. Gary Lineker doesn't have to say anything bad about people for him to get the views, to get the traction, to make his peace. All he does is constructive criticism or analysis, right? Whilst people like Gary Neville, Roy Keane, and the rest of them, they just rage bait, clickbait. So I stopped listening to those people, man. Once I realized what they were doing, turning fans against him, blah blah blah, I stopped, because you could see the agenda that it was only online to one player or a couple of players at United. The rest of them, they were fine to get away with murder, anything, and that's why now no one can make me hate Marcus Rashford. They can't. You can't make me hate the kid. And by the way, the people that are saying he's 27 and he's still talking as if he's looking to find his reach his peak. 27 is when people start actually reaching their peak. Marcus has been playing football since 8, and he's been at Manchester United for God knows 20 plus years or so. And there are times he's had a couple of seasons, bad seasons and everything, but we don't know what's going on in the background. We don't know anything. But he's right in saying my game has lacked consistency. That's him taking ownership, right? Taking accountability of how he's operated at Manchester United. But then people are twisting it, saying, well, why are you blaming Manchester United? Why are you blaming it? Manchester United is guilty as fuck. Manchester United are guilty as fuck with the way they've treated certain players, or every other player that's joined the squad. I can say, if you can give me 5 players that have actually improved or make made Manchester United better since joining Manchester United. I'm not talking about, academy players. I'm talking purely superstars that have joined the club, including Ronaldo. I'll wait, because I can't find 5 of them that's actually made the club or made themselves better players when they joined Manchester United, because I feel like they all just joined for the money. Ronaldo didn't take a pay cut to join Manchester United. Instead, he earned more money to join Manchester United. But then here we are, we're asking Rashford to take a pay cut. Weird bunch of fans, man, Top Reds. This is so fucking weird. They're not nice people. Top Reds are not nice people. They're not. I know a lot of them. Personally, I know a lot of them. And they're not good people. And when you go to football matches and you sit there and listen to them, then you know these people are not nice people. And just look at what they did to that guy. That was that guy that was growing his hair until we win 5 games straight. He went to Old Trafford to watch a match and he got attacked by Top Reds. The guy pulled his hair, called him names. Top Reds are not good people. They're not nice people, And it's the same thing they would have done to Rashford if they could go get hold of his head, his hair, pull his hair or do whatever to him, if they can get close to him. They talk about how they use their they use their money to go watch football. They pay his wages. Nobody forces you to pay your wages to go watch Marcus Rashford play football, or Manchester United in general play football. So why are you whinging about it? You use their service. They give you service. They provide you service to go watch and have fun. Sometimes it's not gonna be, all good. You got to take the good and the bad. But don't talk to him as if, or don't talk to us as if we're stupid. I pay to go watch football. I pay to go to matches, right? Nobody, because I want to do it. Nobody forced me to pay my money to go watch football. Manchester United players play football, or any other team play football. That's how I look at it. But you lot feel so entitled because you pay 60 quid or 45 pound, 100 and whatever, 500, whatever you can afford to pay to go watch them play. You feel so entitled that entitlement caused you to hate him, abuse his family, racially abused him and his family, because you feel like your 45 pound is worth, it's equivalent to abusing him, or his mom, or his brothers, or his nieces, his nephews, whatever. At what point do you actually sit there and go, you know what, I pay 45 pounds to come and watch him, I pay 60 quid to come and watch him, he should do this, he should do that, and call him names? Yeah, we've got the banter, we've got the name calling, we've all done that, call players shit, you shit on the pitch. But after the game, we just move on. But then the consistent abuse towards Marcus Rashford has just changed my mind completely, that you can never make me hate him. Never, ever. And I wish him nothing but the best success everywhere he goes, So you guys can keep crying. And after the interview, by the way, I came on YouTube, bro, there were over 15 episodes of them talking about, analyzing that 11 minute of interview about what he said. They took 11 minutes, they've turned it into a whole catalogue. $11 minutes of interview, they've turned that shit into a whole catalogue, talking about just what he said about taking responsibility, try and be consistent in his game, try and play, in life, in his personal life as well as in football. That's him taking responsibility. Are you looking at that and go, oh well, he's blaming Manchester United? He's saying, I've been in an environment that is so inconsistent, has made me inconsistent. It's fact. Absolute fact. It's not just him, by the way. Every player. Don't talk about Bruno, by the way, because Bruno is probably, him and Bruno are the exception. Because nobody has done their numbers. No player has done the numbers Bruno and Marcus Rashford has done post Fergie. No one. So between him and Bruno, if they don't work, right, as hard as more than anybody else, the team falls apart. So Marcus stopped working hard. For whatever reason, we don't know. He was still training and whatever. Bruno stopped working hard, then the team fell apart. But the pressure went on Marcus because obviously he's the local lad. He's the one we paying £60 to go see. He's the one earning 350k. Everyone started abusing him. And when you listen to Roy Keane, he doesn't give any football advice. He tells you how to be violent. In these days, violence don't work in football. Does not work in football. Ask Casemiro, you've seen it. A few tackles to get sent off. Roy Keane does not do any footballing analysis. He doesn't. All he does is rage bait. Oh, just kick him, or just go out, punch him. Take charge of your box. Do this and do that. There's nothing critical thinking about what he says apart from hate him, kick him, get a yellow card, get a red card. But it's not every game you got to do that, mate. It's not every game. And Gary Neville, he sits on the fence, but also you can see his bias. Paul Scholes is just a dickhead, man. He shouldn't be talking at all. He should just stick to what he's done as a footballer. But as a pundit, it's an absolute disgrace, Paul Scholes. I love him as a footballer, by the way. Don't get me wrong. But everything he says, I don't listen to that. And one thing I'm tired of hearing as well, their stories 50 years ago. I'll do it the best, I'll do it. We knew that. Stop telling us. This is a new generation. This is a new generation of footballers coming up. They cannot be like you guys. We cannot ask these guys to be like Paul Scholes, because Paul Scholes is a one-off. The guy Paul Scholes, the man Paul Scholes, the footballer Paul Scholes, is a one. It's number one. But Paul Scholes as a pundit, it's 1,000 of them. Like, they just chat shit for the clicks. For the clicks. You might not like what I'm saying about Paul Scholes, but that's an absolute fact, mate. Paul Scholes as a footballer is number one in his position. But Paul Scholes as a pundit is absolute shit. Paul Scholes as a manager is shite. Gary Neville as a pundit, as a footballer, is not number one in his position, but he was brilliant at giving it everything. As a manager, he's the worst among the rest. Roy Keane. As a captain, Roy Keane was the best. As a football captain, as a Manchester United, or in football in general, Roy Keane is the number one captain, right? It's the number midfield, tackler, hard man, big time, hardcore goals. Let's go, baby. He will fight for you. He will defend you. He will do whatever for you. Die for you. That's Roy Keane. But as a manager, Roy Keane is fucking shit, man. As a pundit, Roy Keane. Oh my god. It's just a clickbait. They use him for clicks. They use him for rage bait, and they know fans react to it. Top Reds, especially Top Reds, they love it. So Gary Neville as a businessman, brilliant. Okay, he's brilliant. Give it to him. Who else? Owen Hargreaves he's kind of alright, He gives football an analysis, and and the way he talks about football, he talks about the players, he talks about the managers, it's an all-rounder. He's not looking for clicks. He's not looking for likes. He just analyzes the game. So fair play to Winner Graves. It's not even a club legend for me. It's not a legend at Manchester United because he joined later. What else can I think of? The guys at TalkSport, they're average players, man. Average players. They're nowhere near what Marcus Rashford is doing now. Think about Jamie O'Hara, Jason Conde, Dean Saunders, them guys. It's a different generation. It's a different one. Stop asking them to go kick people, break legs. Stop it. I might lose subs, but it is what it is. It's the fact. Tell me how many players has improved since joining Manchester United. With every other manager, including Jose, Van Gaal, Moise, Ten Hag. Who else now? Amorim. Because Amorim has not improved a single player for me. The man is just fraud. But anyway, that's a conversation for another day. Let's get back to Marcus Rashford. I'm going to play the interview first. Then we're going to go through some of the segments they've done on him over the week. In 3 days, they've done over 20. Repeating the same thing. Some people questioning, is he a superstar? Is he a world-class player? Nobody, to me, Marcus is not a world-class player. That's facts for me. He's a superstar. What he brings, his brand says he's a superstar. Going towards world-class, like he said, he's got to do it consistently, over and over, every single day, every single game, every single season, 3-4 season, maintain that standard. That's what makes you a superstar. And people like Harry Kane, they do that, year in, year out. And that's people like Harry Kane, Ronaldo, Messi. Who else can I think of? There's a few world-class players left currently. Everyone seems to be working towards that, title, world-class players. But Marcus is, for now, he's not world-class, and I don't think he's ever been world-class. He was reaching that potential. He was getting closer and closer to that. Then boom, something happened. Man was playing with injections. They were injecting him to cover up injuries, to let him play through injuries. So that may have contributed to him being inconsistent as well. Manchester United players are currently suing Manchester United for the way the doctors have, handled them during their time at Manchester United. If you don't know this, go do your research. Ex-players are suing Manchester United because they ruin them. The doctors ruin Manchester United players. And this is what we're saying. And he's saying he was in a very inconsistent environment, which made him inconsistent whilst playing for Manchester United. And that's an absolute fact, because the only consistent thing Manchester United has provided over the last 10 years, 11, 12 years, for players, academy, homegrown, other superstars have joined and disappeared. The only thing that's been consistent from this club is the chopping and changing of managers. Let's make that clear. Football has not been consistent at Manchester United. No footballer has been consistent at Manchester United. I can tell you this now. You can cry about Bruno all you like, but Bruno has been inconsistent too. But the only thing the environment has provided for these footballers, and it's not Bruno's fault, it's not Marcus's fault either, is the chopping and changing of managers, coaches, football staff, you name it, with poor facilities, which, by the way, Ronaldo said that. But You know, we can forgive him because he's Ronaldo, right? But that's the only thing, the consistent thing Manchester United has provided for this current bunch and the previous bunch. That's the only thing. The sacking and hiring of managers. How many managers have we had over the last 10 years? So let's start with Moyes. David Moyes, 1. After Moyes, who came in? Van Gaal, 2. Ole, 3. Ole, 3. Ranić, 4. Ten Hag, 5. I'm just doing random. Jose, 6. Amorim, 7. Who else? Then we've got Van Nistelrooy, 8. Carrick, 9. Who else was there? Carrick and somebody else was there. Fletcher, 10. I can think of 10. Well, some of them are caretakers. Ryan Giggs, 11. So, including caretakers, let's just say roughly 11. 11 managers, including caretakers, coaches and managers and caretakers. 11. So that's in the last 10 years. So that's like almost one manager every year. How do you expect players to be consistent, bro? $11 managers, including caretakers. Caretakers like Fletcher, Carrick, Giggs, Van Nistelrooy. 4 caretakers and the rest. How do you expect these guys to be consistent? I don't care if it's Ronaldo or Messi playing in that team, they'll still flop, bro. Ronaldo scored 20 goals. Obviously, everyone was giving him the ball. That's why he was scoring. Bruno stopped giving Rashford the ball. Rashford couldn't score as many goals. Then when Ronaldo came, because everyone was passing the ball to him, including Rashford, was giving the ball to Ronaldo to score. And fair play to the guy, he did his numbers. If it's not about him, though, it can't be about anybody else. I love him. I bought the jerseys. I've got the kit, Ronaldo kit and everything. You know, we love him. But 11 managers, 12 managers over 10 years. How do you expect anyone to be consistent? How do you expect anyone to perform? Because each manager comes with their own ideas, different ideas. Every year, you know, they get lucky. Some of them get lucky. They win 1 or 2 trophies. You know, the first season, new manager bounce. You know, they win 1 or 2 trophies and they walk away. Then they flop the 3rd season. As soon as they flop, they get sacked. They bring somebody else. So that's the only consistent thing that's happened at Manchester United. So Rashford saying that he's been in a very inconsistent environment. That's fact, bro. How can you not see that? How do you not see that? And which has made him inconsistent. Again, that's a fact, including his own personal life, obviously, where he's got going. That's why he said, in my personal life as well, I need to be consistent. That's why I said it. But how do you twist that, saying that's him not taking responsibility? Because it's false. It's false from you guys. Ronaldo said the same thing. The environment is poor. The behaviors of certain players and staff and the facilities, the Glazers, the owners. Inconsistency everywhere. That's what he's saying. But you can't handle the fact that he's just said what we are saying. You don't hate the message. You know, the only reason you hate the messenger is because it's fact. And it's not come from your favorite pundit, you know. But anyway, let's get to the video and let's see what Marcus said. See if I can find it now. What did he say? I've not watched the full. Well, I've not even watched it. I'm just waffling here from what I've read online from Top Reds. Oh my god, it's so funny. Some of the comment, you can't stop laughing, and you laugh at them, they get angry. They even get feel like they're gonna attack you next time they see you. Bless them. Here we go. The first one is from ITV. That's taking forever to load now. What's going on? There's probably more of this chit chat going on still about him. I think there was a time where Roy Keane said he hates Marcus Rashford smiling on the pitch. How can he hate someone for smiling, bro? Come on. I don't like seeing him smiling like that. It's like, are you alright? That's what I mean. The guy only wants violence. Roy Keane. Nothing he says help players at all. Nothing. Oh, this is not loading now. Apologies. I'm looking for the interview he did a few days ago. The only thing I can ask for is violence. Right? I don't like seeing him smiling. How can you hate seeing your players smiling? The players can't smile. They can't enjoy football. They can't enjoy what they do in England. They can't, especially at Manchester United. They're not allowed to enjoy football. They're not allowed to show their tactics, their skills. Because if they made a mistake, we slaughter them. An example would be Anthony. Anthony was trying to enjoy his football. Bro, we called him out, saying, nah, this is the UK, man. This is the Premier League. You can't be doing that. Whilst in Spain, they let them express themselves. It doesn't matter how many mistakes they make. They're going to get it right. Once they get it right, it brings some joy, and it pays off. But in England, you're not allowed to express any form of skills. The only thing they know is run, ping and run. Ping the ball, let's run. That's all they know. There's no skillful player left in the Premier League. I can't think of any. Help me out. Who is currently the most skillful player left in the Premier League? That you go, wow. Wow, what a skill. Phew. But we watch the Spanish league. You watch Barcelona play, you go, wow. Pedri, wow. Gavi, wow. Kabasi, wow. Rashford, wow. Lewandowski, wow. The keeper. Real Madrid, it's the same. In the Premier League, there is no skillful player left. Back then we had the Ryan Giggs that do the twists and turns. Gareth Bale, Ronaldo, the stepovers. Now you're not even allowed to do any of that. You just get slaughtered every day. You get slaughtered by the hour. We stop enjoying football and we start giving them steak. They're not allowed to make mistakes. They're not allowed to be human. But my guys in Spain fishing and everything. I'm waffling because this is still loading. But why does Roy Keane hate people smiling when they play football? We're not just people like Rashford. Whatever happens at Barca, I know there'll be other clubs that'll pick him up. It doesn't matter if you just know he's gonna be successful in whatever end he ends up after Barcelona. I think I'm calling this now. Probably after the World Cup, he might retire. he might retire after the World Cup. Well, this is taking forever to load. It's coming up now.
Do you count your England caps?
No.
So you don't know how many you're on?
Roughly 60s.
65.
65.
65 England caps. 65.
Obviously,
65 England
proud,
caps.
But yeah, I'm just looking forward. Try to get as many as I can. And as long as I'm helping the team, then you know, that's all I want. Listen, I'm just taking it one camp at a time, one game at a time, and keep trying to improve. But yeah, my aim is to bring my best level to national team.
At its best, what is football to you? Love?
I just need to start this video again because he said, I didn't really get what he said at the beginning there.
I'd probably say love. I think that's the first emotion that comes to mind when I think about playing football.
The internet is quite slow. The internet is quite slow. Do apologise. So
it's just been a place for me to
it's just lagging.
The enjoyment. It's not always.
Just wait for it to load up altogether.
It's easy, but it has been something throughout my life where if I'm ever need head space or anything, even when I was younger, I just go out and play some football. So yeah, I think that's my connection with.
I missed out the whole first part. Come on, just wait for it. Be patient, please.
With football, but yeah, like you mentioned, some of the other stuff, they all add.
It's buffering. It's lagging.
Into 1 minute.
Thomas Tuchel was spoken to him, says it's so important at times when it's hard to remember the young lad.
So it's not even a long interview, but this interview has rattled a few people. Right, I'm gonna take it back.
Do you count your
Let me just pause it.
England? Do you count your England?
So far I've counted what they've snippet they've done of this. They've taken their own version and try and twist these words. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've got 11 episodes of them just doing, you know, a quick review on what he said, you know, trying to twist it, saying he's not taking responsibility or ownership or whatever, accountability, which is what he's done in this clip, 11-minute clip. And he's saying I need to be consistent in my personal life as well as in training. So how is that him not taking accountability of his time at United? But because he generate clicks you generate the views. Everyone was trying to make it sound like, oh well, he was there for 20 years, he was there for 20 blah blah blah, and he was part of the inconsistency. That's what he's saying, idiot. That's what he's saying. He's saying he was part of it, and for him to now he realized. I think he should have probably gone way sooner. Leave United and go somewhere where they will appreciate him more, because you cretins don't appreciate this talent, this guy. And you idiot, just because you pay 60 quid to go watch football, like, it didn't force you to go watch football, it didn't force you to go watch Manchester United play shit. We all do that because we want to do it, and then we cry about it later. And obviously during the match we'll shout some sort of abuse, but after that, why do you carry the abuse towards his family, his brothers, his nieces, his nephews, and his girlfriend, whatever? Why does it matter? Why can't it just be, okay, you're shit at football, Marcus, and move on, play well next time and move on? But why do you have to racially abuse him? Why does it matter what he wears, what he drives, as if it's not even the only player there. Apologies for the language there, but it is what it is. But sometimes it's quite tiring listening to top Reds just talking. And top Reds are not nice people. When you go to football matches and you actually listen to them and hear the way they speak about certain players on the pitch, these people are not good people. They're nasty piece, They're very nasty people. And I said it again, the way they treated that guy that came from, where was he from? The guy with the big fro that said, that was doing the challenge about growing his hair until Manchester United win 7 games in a row, 5 games in a row. Bro, they attacked him, they pulled his hair at Old Trafford. Can you believe it? Well, yeah, I can, because I've seen them say some nasty stuff. But just look at those guys and tell me if you think those are good people to you. They're not good people. And those are the people that feel entitled because they pay 60 quid to go watch him. Nobody forced you to go watch him. You didn't have to pay £60. You could have used it something else. But constantly coming at him, his family, not talking about his football, or using his wage to abuse him because he earned this much. That's not his fault. He's earning this much. There is a thing. I think there's a saying about whatever people make or earn. You get what you negotiated for, not what you deserve. If you go by what he deserves, he probably deserves 25k a week, not 300,000 a week. But what he negotiated, or his team, his agent, got him to where he is today. And the work he's put through as a child, as a kid coming up, 7-8 year old, to where he is now, he probably deserve it. But that's not for me to say. But for what he gets paid now, you get what you negotiated, not what you deserve. His team asked for 350k, and the company, Manchester United, say yes, we'll give it to you. Yeah. And Manchester United say, yeah, we'll give you 350,000. Take it, run with it. You go do what you want. So, if the club they think it deserves 350,000, why would they pay him that? But fans like us say he should kill himself because he earns 350,000. I know some of you don't even go to work, bro. When you go to work, you don't have a job. You don't even kill yourself for your own job. Yeah. So, and these are the same people that come in, because sometimes I listen to them at work. The people that talk about Marcus, I work with them. I look at them like, you can't even do your own job here. You're criticizing him for, about his own role just because you pay 60 quid to go see him. Imagine your employer actually comes on and say, okay, show me your work. How much money have you made for us? a lot of people will get sacked in their jobs, but this guy is the only one that's not allowed to make a mistake. This guy is the only one that's not allowed to go out on a date with whoever he wants to see. Drives a nice car, whatever he wants to drive. He's the only one that's not allowed to do that. I can't get my head around it. And the people that are hating on him now, mostly the local people in Manchester, Old Trafford, whatever, Newton Heath, Stockport, Salford, those areas. You had your chance to play football. You could have made it. But the constant abuse that you gave him, you don't really deserve it, man. Let's be honest. Let us be honest, man. You don't deserve it. And let's not forget, he fed the kids during lockdown, man. It did good for you lot. It did good for you people. He came through with his own money. And he's still doing it, by the way. He's still running his charity. He's still feeding kids. But let's I think the interview's ready now. Let's go.
Caps.
No.
So you don't know how many you're on?
Roughly 60s.
65.
65. Obviously extremely proud, but yeah, I'm just looking forward. Try to get as many as I can, and yeah, as long as I'm helping the team, then that's all I want. Listen, I'm just taking it one camp at a time, one game at a time, and keep trying to improve. But yeah, my aim is to bring my best level to national team.
At its best, what is football to you? Love, passion, obsession?
I'd probably say love. I think that's the first emotion that comes to mind when I think about playing football. When you're at your lowest points, football's always been a place for me to sort of bring back the enjoyment. It's not always easy, but it has been something throughout my life where if I'm ever need headspace or anything, even when I was younger, I just go out and play some football. So yeah, I think that's my connection with football. But yeah, like you mentioned, some of the other stuff, they all add into one mix.
Thomas Tuchel, we've spoken to him, says it's so important at times when it's hard to remember the young lad who played football at first.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's the simplest format. We played football because we wanted to. So yeah, when it is going tough, you have to remember them moments and really dig deep to find out why you're doing this, why you wanna, why you put yourself through the hard training and then the strict lifestyle. What's the reason for all of this? And usually it's because you love the game.
May 27th, 2016.
Yeah.
Remember the date?
Yeah, it's a long time ago. I'll always remember that moment. I think that when you do something for the first time, it's difficult to forget. And I know in my career so far, I've had lots of moments, lots of memorable occasions. But I always feel like the ones that I've done for the first time, they're the ones that I remember the emotions I was feeling. Yeah, I never really forget them ones.
What's the best thing about success?
I think just knowing that you're at the top, but it also comes with sort of an expectation, a pressure, you could say. But for me, it's you're going to be successful, you're going to be unsuccessful, but you just have to try and keep the same motivation, the same discipline, and try to keep improving yourself. That's the only way to keep winning. In
Russia, all those years ago, do you remember watching clips of the England fans celebrating the penalty shootout?
Yeah.
What did that time feel like?
I felt like in that time we was a team that recognised that we had the potential to be one of the best, and that in these tournaments we had to start showing what we were capable of, and the manager really helped us in doing that. And we just had a togetherness in the team that was different to before. And yeah, I'm pleased that it's continued even up until now. That's, you know, one of this team's strongest points, for sure. So, you know, going into these big moments, these big tournaments, we really do feel like we have the support of the team. So as long as we've got that togetherness, you know, in football anything can happen, but you know, as long as you've got that togetherness, you've always got a chance.
Did that show you the power of football then?
No, for sure. You know, football's an important thing for a lot of our lives, a lot of the fans' lives. So yeah, it's definitely something that we can connect with and yeah, use it as a real power tool to be together.
What's taken you further, talent or resilience?
Resilience. 100%. Not just in football, but just in life. You never know how resilient you have to be because anything can happen today
I hear that.
or tomorrow. So yeah, that's definitely a huge skill set that you need to have in this business.
Did you need resilience last year when
By the way, he's just answering questions they're asking him.
you didn't make the squad for the first time for a tournament?
Yeah, 100%. You know, it's not nice, but you can only do one or two things. You can give up, or you can continue trying to be your best and try to get back in the squad. And you know, for me, it's always the mindset I have. I'm aware I'm not going to be playing my best football the whole time, but I'm always going to try. Yeah, that will continue throughout my career.
What was it like watching? Did you watch?
Yeah, of course. You know, still wanted the lads to do as well as possible. Obviously disappointed when they didn't quite make it in the end, but nevertheless proud of the stuff that they done, the stuff they achieved to get there again. And I just think we've been close now so many times. I wish nothing more than to just take the last step and you know, win a major tournament.
What was it like to get the call after a year out from Thomas?
No, massively important for me. And yeah, it's just when you're out of it, it's just something that you miss. Very much. So yeah, to be back involved with everything, it's a huge honour, and like I said, the aim and the objectives still remain the same though. So yeah, whether or not I'm with the lads or not, it doesn't change me wanting the team to win or not.
Did you wonder, will I get back?
No, not necessarily. I think it was down to me. So yeah, just have to, you know, work hard and try to show my best football, because when I do, I feel like I deserve to be here. So it's I have to keep pushing myself, keep trying to be the best version of myself.
Thomas said to us, Marcus, there's so much talent. He said there's one thing you need to go right to that world-class level. Any idea what? Consistency.
Yeah, for sure. You know, consistency is a massive part of it. I feel like I've been in an inconsistent environment for a very, very long time. So it's even more difficult to be consistent then. But yeah, I completely agree. I think consistency is what I need to bring into my game, and yeah, I'm looking to do that. Obviously, I want to be at my best, not sometimes, but as often as possible.
That's really interesting. Because yeah, people have to take that into consideration about what you're asked to do week in, week out at club level. What your stage is.
Yeah, I think it's, you know, when people talk about consistency, in order to be consistent in anything, not just sports, you need consistent variables like in your life and in the way you train, and we've just had so many changes, so far in my career. But like I said, I have to look forward, and that's definitely one of the things that I'd want to put right and improve on, to be at my best more often, because when I'm at my best, I really enjoy everything about the sport. So being there is a special thing for me.
What's been the best thing about the move to Barcelona? A new club, a new way of playing, a new country?
I just think a new club. I think there's bits of each one. The environment's definitely a huge part of it. Playing style, like you mentioned, it's all new to me, but I'm enjoying learning this in this process. And I feel it's a team that's really good for me, and I think I can help them a lot. So I think it's a really good move, and I'm just really positive about the future. So my sights are just set on playing the best football I can and staying fit.
Which Barcelona player so far this season is top for goals and assists?
I think I am. Yeah, it's close though, and it's early on. I'm definitely not surprising myself. I'm playing well. I'm probably still not playing my best football, but I'm closer to it than what I have been. So it's like you said, it's better than before. So I have to use that as motivation, and you just continue to do the things that I'm doing, and that's what my aims are.
Are England getting a better player with you in Barcelona?
Yeah, for sure. And it's obviously still early days. But yeah, I think when I do reach my maximum potential, it'll be the best version of me. That
a happier player?
Yeah, for sure. But I just think it will be the best version of myself that I've ever seen and I've ever felt. So where I am now, and I know I'm nowhere near playing to my maximal potential. People forget as well. Before I went there this summer, I was injured for. It's difficult to finish the season injured. Start pre-season not really knowing what condition you injure your previous injuries in. I feel like I've got momentum behind me right now, but definitely I'm not playing my best football. But I'm on my way there.
After 10 years with England, where do you see yourself in 10 years' time?
Hopefully we win World Cups, we win European Championships. That's been my aim since I came into this national team, and we're not there yet. We've definitely made steps forward. But them steps will really mean something to all of us if we manage to get our hands on a trophy.
Who's the best cap player in international football in the world?
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah. Cristiano said, "Resilience and the work ethic ensured I made the most of the talent."
No, for sure. And listen, he's one of the players that I've been grateful to play with. Obviously watched him a lot when I was younger, but I think I'm not sure his longevity can even be matched, but I think it's a real lesson to all of us that it's possible to play in the top level for so many years. It's unbelievable. So big credit to him, but it shows us that we can all do that little something more to try and stay in the game for as long as possible.
Do you know how many strikers have reached 100 caps for England?
No, I wouldn't say that many. 2, Harry Kane and Wazza.
You're the closest striker to being the next.
No, it's a difficult thing to do, especially being as a forward, because there's just so many talented English forwards. So to get 100 caps is is a huge achievement. So yeah, well, listen, we'll see if I can manage to add to the list. But I'm just enjoying the time in the present moment, and I'm enjoying it a lot. So yeah, I have to think about the now, and we'll see where we are.
So he said a whole lot of things that it's mad. Then he said nothing wrong throughout the the conversation there. It's like just two people having a chit chat, and he's the ITV guys asking him questions and he's responding. What did he say that got top Reds rattled? I'm trying to think. What did he actually say that got top Reds rattled? That got him talking off their behinds, off their heads, bro. What did he say wrong about Manchester United? What was wrong? But anyway, since that interview then, and I've gone on to check other channels, you got people like ESPN saying his attitude was appalling. Talking about Marcus. Let's talk about Marcus Rashford. But the most surprising one for me is Mark Goldbridge. He actually backed what Marcus said. The truth hurts. Rashford exposes glazes. He exposes the glazer rot. That's what Mark Goldbridge said. Because if you think about it, I think he was one of the ones that was forming the hate train towards Marcus. So it's time to shift. It's time to see where Marcus is coming from. Then go on to TalkSport. Oh, another one, ESPN, two from them now. Take some responsibility, which he did. But they're trying to grab the. If you don't watch the interview itself, if you don't listen to what he said, you're gonna believe these headlines. Take some responsibility in caps. Then you've got Gaza. Paul Gascoigne, the Alki, it winds me up. Paul Gascoigne reacting to Marcus Rashford interview, it winds me up. He must have had a few before he went in. Then you got Sky Sport came in. Is Marcus Rashford world class? Let's debate. And TalkSport, I will request unforgivable if Marcus Rashford doesn't give everything to the England team. It's unforgivable if Marcus Rashford doesn't give everything to the national team. It's unforgivable. What about other players? Why are you putting that pressure on so much on one guy? Why? Why are you putting so much pressure on just one guy? It's unforgivable if Marcus Rashford doesn't give his all to England. Wow. You already set him up, for when things goes wrong, and people can come for him. That's what you're doing, and that's what you've done. Let me look for more. Any more? Okay. Yeah, I can't see anymore. So I've got about 10-12 of them, little clips, short clips coming your way, where people were just getting angry for what he said or how he said it, they didn't like it. They think he was making excuses. He was passing the buck to the club, like they're saying the club was giving you everything. So what are you talking about? Yes, the club gave everything, but the club didn't give everything for free. You had to be there to get it. The club was giving you everything. Was it for free? Did you not hand that from academy, pre-academy to under 10s, under 8s, under 21, under 17, whatever you want to call it, the senior team? You didn't do it for free. You didn't earn that money, but just not being there. He was there as a kid, and he grew up becoming who he is today from Manchester United. So the club is giving you everything. When you blaming the club, we all blame the club. You fuckers, you notice? We've all blamed the club. We've all said the Glazers are, we've all said it. The Glazers ruined the club. We've all said it. The only thing that has been consistent at the club is the sacking and hiring of managers. I'll repeat that again. The sacking and hiring of new managers. That's the only thing that's been consistent at Manchester United. You tell me I'm wrong. Think about all the big players that have joined United. Oh yeah, the second thing that's been consistent at Manchester United is the signing of semi-retired players to come and play alongside the younger people or younger talent. Not to compete, is to play or sit on the bench or get injured. Not to compete for places is the signing of semi-retired players from Real Madrid and other football clubs to join Manchester United as big name signings. That's one thing that's been consistent at the club. So there's never be a competition at the club where they say, okay, in this position, Marcus, you have to compete with this person. In this position, Bruno, you have to do this, you have to do that. Nobody's safe. It's never been that. They were all left to do whatever. Right? There's never been a competition for David De Gea either at United. No serious competition. No serious competition for Marcus. No serious competition for Garnacho or any other player in the midfield. We were signing semi-retired players like Casemiro, Zlatan, Cavani, Michael Owen. Well, that was doing fight. You want something with us. Sanchez. The list goes on, mate. So many of them. Di Maria, well, he went on to win some things with other clubs, but you get what I'm saying. We've never signed any player or players to compete with the talent we've already got at the club over the last 10 years. So again, that's the only thing that's been consistent with the club. We signed old, retired, that came in for the money and left, Ronaldo included in there. He scored 20 goals, he bagged 20 goals, which, we're happy for that. But he didn't come to United for less money. Nobody asked Ronaldo to take a pay cut, by the way. He came to United and he had more than he used to earn at Real Madrid. That's a fact. And he left. And he earned more money. And he's earning more money now at Saudi. So we didn't sign any players to compete with the current talent we've got. We signed players to disrupt the current crop. Solskjaer had the current crop playing for vibes, even though there was no tactics. But if they had signed players that will compete, like Solskjaer was asking for Holland, asking for certain players now, Casado, playing for certain clubs, there would have been competition. Not signing older players with semi-retired players like Casemiro, who just here because he's been offered the biggest cash flow where he could get it elsewhere. But those are the two things that's been consistent at the club: sacking managers, hiring new managers, signing semi-retired players who viewed United as a retirement home. Our rivals call us the retirement home, which is true. So we've not signed anyone to compete with the talent Anyway, let's listen to what these guys are experiencing. It's a 5-minute clip. His attitude was appalling. Let's see what they've got to say. Start loading. His attitude was appalling. Marcus Rashford's interview. Can you imagine? He's not even allowed to speak up without him being criticized or being called names. Name calling.
It's a bit refreshing to finally talk about all the problems Liverpool has and not what Manchester United has. But we're going to talk about Manchester United right now.
We're fed up talking about them.
Although they are not quite.
You're not fed up talking about Manchester United. You love it. They generate.
Consistent environment for a very, very long time. So it's even more difficult to be consistent. I think consistency is what I need to bring into my game. And yeah, I'm looking to do that. All right.
Just looked up inconsistent on can also inconsistent, sometimes construed as lazy with a bad attitude.
You know what?
Stevie, what do you make of what
Do you know
Marcus
that
said?
statement there?
Yes.
There's only one real thing that sticks out big time.
And that's that he was an
It's
inconsistent.
not my fault.
Oh, fair.
That's what that statement is. It's not my fault.
Yeah, exactly.
How about you take some responsibility? Try to blame others. Oh, nothing's been consistent. I want to be. Well, guess what? You can do something about
He wasn't
it.
wrong. It is an inconsistent environment.
No, it's not. It's a bad environment. It's been consistently bad. But, but when you're in it, as a player, when you're in a situation,
Oh, well done. I love it.
well then you have to.
Okay.
You have to shut everything else off and get your job. What's my job? What can I do? What's my little piece of the puzzle that I can make it better for not just me but for everybody? That's how you. That's how you're supposed to face challenges, not blame everybody else. That's all he's done.
He
last
can
season-
drive consistency. He can drive consistency. As Stevie said, consistency within himself. If he's consistent, he turns up at training, he works hard every day. Did he? No.
Yeah.
He's consistent when he tracks runners back and he works hard for his team and he presses on the field, no matter who's in charge. Amorim, Ten Hag, Solskjaer, couldn't give a toss. Was he consistent in his work rate? The answer is no. He can't control what the club decisions are, but he can control his attitude. And his attitude at Man United in the end, not at the start, in the end, was appalling.
Frank?
Yeah.
But I think, and the thing is last season at Aston Villa, the environment was great, and it was a consistent, good environment. And he performed for a while, but not for the whole season. And well, for the time he was there. So that's and when we talk about Marcus Rashford, it's because we all agree that the talent is there, that we can rank him very high because he has everything. So, and we have said that for years since we saw the season he was capable of doing at Manchester United. But yeah, that's all his fault. Take it for yourself.
Yeah, but that's why I agree. Look, the thing with him now comes to, like, we all know he's very talented. When he broke through, everybody was admiring him, loved the way he played, including myself. And then comes a time where the team drops. That is exactly the time when we wanted him to take the responsibility. And at that moment was the moment where the inconsistency, like he names it himself, is also when everybody looked at him. And I think there was a moment came where he sometimes didn't, or sometimes that he was a long time that he went hiding, where you didn't see him really putting his foot down and saying, like, this is what I demanded, this is what I'm going to show you, and I'm going to carry this team if I have to. And that is the thing what was missing, because, you know, as a player, he has the speed, he has you know, when he wants to play, he takes people on, he feels comfortable. Now he's at Barcelona. Why is he playing like that? Because he knows that he's in a team that is full of talented players. So I have to turn up, and he's turning up. So if he can do it there, he can clearly do it even if his team is not performing.
The contradiction is crazy.
27, he's not a baby anymore. He's 27. Let's be honest about it. we'll talk about what he's doing at Barca on a weekly basis, off the bench or not.
Yeah.
We'll see how that drives forward. If we're being honest, he had that season in 22-23, and off the back of that, he got a humongous new contract, and he chucked it.
They're not talking about the injuries. They're not. The injury he suffered.
In the following year, he chucked it. He got his dough, got his big deal, and he threw the towel in. Because times got tough at Man United, and that's when you need your star players to be rolling their sleeves up, and he did not. And he's a lucky boy that Barcelona have some issues and they needed some players to cover. Very, very lucky. And fair play, I mean, he should
He's lucky.
take it.
Fucking hell.
Because if he doesn't, where's he going to go?
He'll go elsewhere. Listen to that alone. The way they, if you watch ESPN, the way they look, their expression, they look so angry. They look like, where does he go if he doesn't take care of Barca? Bro, there are big clubs lining up to sign Marcus from what they've seen. Give him a good environment, he will perform for you. So they're asking that. They did ask the same thing after Aston Villa. Oh, well, who's going to take him? He's not going to go to Barca. Barca took him. So after Barcelona, he's going to get another go elsewhere if they don't sign him fully, But the way, the disgust in them, I'm disgusted looking at it, just listening to them, and you just know they're doing it for the clicks. Because they're not, he talks about the money, which is what they focus on. They never talked about how he played with injury for years, with injections. They never talked about that. What he sacrificed just doing that under Ole or whoever, or the other managers. But all they talk about is how much he's getting paid. How much he's getting paid. That's what it talks about. Man, fuck you, pocket watchers, man. Then we move on to this guy. I'm not gonna play that. Let's ESPN again. Let's look at this guy called Steven Housing. I think he works with Rio. Let's talk about Marcus. He did a 25-minute one, but I'm not going to sit here for 25 minutes. I'm just going to see what he says. And then I'll move on to Mark Wallbridge. But it's necessary to not just watch this thing. It's necessary for you, if you're watching this, create your own channel. Do, react to these videos.
Morning, mate. Getting on, man. Where's them chickens at? Oh, they're out. Chickens aren't out. We have chickens doing their chicken things. We have got a nice dramatic, check that out, misty sunrise happening this morning.
Now let me skip it.
Wonderful bit of dramatic nature, love that. And the hills over there look absolutely spectacular. This is the reward that you get. This is why we do it. Trying to bank 10k this morning. Just a nice little 10k hike. In and about. Job's a good one. Maybe the truth is actually somewhere in the middle, and actually they don't know. But the news is, so we'll report the news because that's what we do. That Barcelona are happy with him, and for the money quoted, which is 30 million, which is their obligation, they're happy to do business, regardless of whatever his wages are, which will be relatively high, I imagine. So I think he's got 3 goals, 5 assists in 10 games for him this season. So they want to keep hold of him. Which makes sense. And like, you know, I have got zero issues whatsoever with Rashford. I agree to a greater or lesser extent with what Paul Scholes was saying, that it looked like he gave up at United. And you might be able to say, well, United gave up on him. Maybe. But he did look like he gave up. You know, how many times did we see clips of him just walking while someone's dribbling around him? Whatever the circumstances were, I agree, I think he gave up. And I don't think, look, I don't think he had an easy time at United. And I think we identified this a long time ago. When you go against the government, people are going to do whatever they can to give you a load of shit. And they did. And the media came for him. But I think if he'd have held up his side of the bargain with the fans and continued to just put effort in, you can have a bad game. Bad games are allowed. Missing chances is allowed. A shit first touch, when it's occasional, is allowed. But effort is required. And I think the effort weren't there. And then obviously there was issues regarding professionalism. And, you know, there was no excuse for those. So I think it was right that his time at United came to an end. And I don't believe he was toxic. I'm not buying that in the slightest. I think he is a United fan. I think he cares for United. But I think he took his eye off the ball. I think that's fair. I don't think anyone would say that would be going over the top or unfair on him. I think that's literally what happened. And I felt like the change was going to do him good. I didn't think Aston Villa on loan was enough of a change. Because he was going to be in whatever his old habits was at home. But Tomini mentioned going to Napoli and how much that changed him. Because he says, you've been at a club for a decade or more, like, you know, him and Marcus had at United. You know the route to training. You know the way. You know everything about this club. And maybe you do become complacent. And maybe you don't see the new impetus coming in. And maybe you're reluctant to the changes with different managers from that coming in. But when you move to a new city, and you get that clean slate, and you have to build your routine and your habits back up again, there's an opportunity there to put new habits and new routines in place. You clock off at United at 1 or 2 o'clock every single day. You might go and hang out with people that maybe haven't got the best interest in mind for you, but you just ended up doing it out of habit. You move to a new city, you haven't got those old connections. You might end up being taken under the wing of one of the senior players, and you build better habits again. And I hope that's what's happened there. Because there was a player there that a couple of years ago was £100 million player. Now United aren't getting £100 million
Far from it.
for him. But it doesn't change the fact that he was a £100 million player at some point. So I'd love to see him get it back going again. Because I think he is a player that is exciting on his day. And I want to watch exciting players, not fuckers who just pass it around in circles all day long. So I hope he goes and smashes it, and you know, get the money, and then we can hopefully try and invest it and rebuild. Because this rebuild that we're on requires it. But when you start stacking up the mistakes that have been made. And Rashford is a mistake that's partially on the club as well, for sure. And Greenwood is a mistake that's partially on the club, for sure. And Sancho, and Anthony, and Maguire to a greater or lesser extent, and Pogba. It's easy to put together like £1 billion worth of mistakes. And maybe in the past you get away with that.
And Kobe is about to be the other one.
But with PSR and FFP, and the increasing cost of buying a player, no longer can you just get away with wasting that sort of cash. You just can't do it. So you have to be better and make better decisions and fewer mistakes. So I love the views, man. Honestly. I'd legitimately love these views. So yeah, I hope he goes and absolutely knocks it out of the park.
Anyway, that's Stephen there.
We live streamed our first game on YouTube yesterday.
That's Stephen there, just giving his thoughts on Marcus, and I agree with some of the stuff he said there. But at the end of the day, we all wish him all the best about it. But again, ESPN, they said under the same segment, they did another 10-minute one. They just cut and paste the other one, edited it, and he went from his attitude was appalling to take responsibility. Here they are, the guys at ESPN, Steve Nico. Some of these pundits, man, they're absolutely nasty people. I mean, that's what they get paid. That's why they get paid the big bucks to, to generate the views.
There has been a question mark as well about Frimpong. What are your thoughts on him and his situation?
Yeah, I heard the story, you understand, for the fencing when the coach comes out and he says like, one of my players was thinking more about attacking than defending. I mean, that moment they concede a goal and you see him trying to challenge. He still made the challenge. He was in that position, but he wasn't good enough at that moment. It's tough. Why? Because I hope, you understand, like sometimes as a player it can kill your confidence too. I hope not it's going to happen to Frimpong, because clearly, he looks like a strong-minded player. And
let me skip this because they're talking about Frimpong there.
Because when your coach, instead of
with Konate was a much better player than this season. Well, the beginning of the season, and he was compensating. And a few years ago, you had Anderson compensating as well and covering Trent Alexander-Arnold. So everything was working. But today, nowadays, Frimpong hasn't got the support that he needs. Konate is not as good as he used to be, so maybe he's going to change. Szoboszlai, if he plays on the right side, he's not covering him enough. McAllister is not the player he used to be. Gravenberg is doing great.
Players, and they ran out of steam a little bit in the second half of the season. Certainly domestically the job was done. In Europe they got found out. One player in particular, although there's several, you can look at Mo Salah
right now that you can say is carrying the rest. I mean, they're not. Everybody in some shape, way or form is struggling.
This is huge.
What's my little piece of the puzzle that I can make it better for not just me but for everybody?
I mean, we've had this one. They're just looking for the views there.
Everybody else.
He can drive consistent. Sorry for it.
Move on to the next one, because they just chop in from the same clip, the same stream they did, and cutting the little videos of it.
Sending in a message there saying, I went over to my mate's house one night in Gaza, was sleeping on his sofa. He said it was a perfect house guest, Paul Gascoigne in studio with myself, Simon, and Martin Keown, as we finish off with Gaza at this particular time. Been looking at his book, Paul Gascoigne 8, the
Gaza's got a book to sell, so he can mention every single other individual that he can get, make sure the book.
Gaza revealed for the first time. Paul, it's fair to say that you don't shirk anything in this book, though.
No.
You do take on some of the subject matter that is probably tough for you to speak about today, but nonetheless you speak about it. Your challenges off the field of play coming up the 28th of October, 28th of this month. I'm 14 years clean, no alcohol at all. That's just the way I've gone about it.
You got that right, Jim.
And I'm
Well done.
I think so, yeah. And just
what you got paid for.
keep cracking on with it. You were a huge talent on the pitch, but it's well documented you had challenges off it.
Yeah.
Do you still drink?
The last couple of years have just been like 2-day blips, and then maybe
Language matters. Language matters. Did you hear how Jim described Waza or Gaza on the pitch and off the pitch? On the pitch, you got huge talent. Off the pitch, he had some challenges. Challenges off the pitch. That's how he described Gaza. Paul Gascoigne. Off the pitch, he had some challenges. Some of those challenges were going out, drinking, getting drunk, turning up drunk for a match. Those were some of the challenges, right? Challenges. When it comes to Marcus Rashford, those same challenges, they call them behavior issues, appalling attitude. He was a bad influence. Language matters, bro. Jim just said there, you had challenges off the pitch. Not a single one of them will ever describe Marcus Rashford in that manner, saying, okay, he's a huge talent on the pitch, but off the pitch, he has some challenges. What he'll say is a lazy bastard. His hands, he's got his new contract, and now he's disappeared. Off the pitch, he thinks he's a rapper. He thinks he's a. Those were not challenges for Rashford. He goes out drinking. He doesn't even drink. He goes out clubbing, and he turns up blah blah blah, and it's a bad influence. They never use the word challenge. Challenging or whatever. Language matters, bro. The way he described Gaza here and Gaza's behavior off the pitch, I mean, Marcus hasn't even done half of what Gaza has done off the pitch. He became an alcoholic. And fair play to him. It's been 14 years, not 13 years. He's not touched alcohol. So good to see him. But language matters. And this is what I mean when you do listen. And this is what I steered away from, I moved myself away from the hate train. Because when I start listening to the language they use, how they describe him, how they describe certain players, I told myself, nah, fuck you lot. Your agenda is clear. People like Jim, Simon Jordan, Paul Scholes, Ryan Giggs, Gary Neville, Roy Keane. I told myself, fuck you guys. The language you used to describe Marcus, you wouldn't use the same language to describe Paul Gascoigne, Harry Kane, the lot of them. You wouldn't. Off the pitch, he had challenges, Gaza. Marcus Rashford off the pitch, his attitude was appalling. Behavior, he doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't care about people. But here we are. Hmm.
4 months without a drink, and then it's like with me, I think it's if I had a drink for like 2 days as a consequence. Like the last time was, I think it was about a few months ago or whatever, and I didn't have a drink for 3 or 4 months, and then I had a day off, just having a bottle of Serrano, and I went to put the bottle in the bin, and I tripped on the front mat and fractured my kneecap. So that was in the hospital now. So then I got through that. So really, it's the consequences, you know. Years ago, I used to be a happy drunk, and now it's like if I have a drink and I'm a bit drunk, then I get sad, and then I lock myself away. It's not as if I go out and drink. It's like you're always indoors on my own, so it's a waste of time anyway, you know. It's not as if I go out and enjoy it, and I just sit there and watching a movie and then fall asleep, and then I think, what did I do that for, you know? And then it takes us another week to just get back to like the poor personality again, you know. So, you know, me and drink don't get on really, to be fair.
Yeah.
You know, I'm better without it. So it's just, with me, it's more of like, got to keep myself busy, you know. I don't know why. It's like at the moment I'm like a housewife on my own though. OCD is like cleaning up for no reason. What can I do? I can clean up now, and it's
like a housewife.
A bit of fluff, and I pick it up. Then I.
Oh, did he just say that? So at the moment, I got to keep myself busy. At the moment, I feel like I feel like an housewife. I just keep myself busy. I got to clean the house. Like, fucking hell, Gaza. Jeez.
I have to go and get the brush out and brush the whole house. It drives me nuts. And sometimes with this OCD, it's like living 24 hours, 48 hours and 24-hour day, which is stupid, really.
Are you happy enough in your own company?
Yeah. Well, it's harder because people say, why'd you go home and just sit in the bed and watch the TV or whatever? I says, listen, when you've been, like me, not being big-headed, but when you've been out and you get stopped every 2 minutes, people want a selfie or talk to you about this or that, it's like, it can be draining. Like,
fair play. Fair play. Fair play to the guy, man. Something at the moment.
It's nice sometimes. Like not long ago, I was shopping, going down the aisle, and the guy was coming towards us. He's got 2 kids. One was 5, and something like that. One was 6. And he's got closer to us. He's looked, and he went on his knees and started crying his eyes out. And the kids are like looking at us like, "What you hit me dad for?" I was like, "Get up!" Kids think I've hit you. He's like, "Oh, sorry, but you're my hero. The kids don't know yet." I said, "Well, they will do." God almighty. So, you know, I still have that. And sometimes I feel like I'm getting pestered more now than I did when I actually played. But the public have been fantastic. I think it was because my dad said, "Look, remember how famous you come or how good you are. Remember where you come from." And I always took that. So since I made my first game, I've never turned down an autograph or a photo, you know.
Do you struggle to deal with hero status?
No, not at all. You got so used to it over the years, and I got it at such a young age, regards come back from the World Cup, because I remember getting off the plane, just getting on and getting into it, and went, "Gaza, be careful. Just be careful." And I didn't know what he meant until I actually got off the plane. It was like, wow, you know. And when you're actually in it, sometimes you're enjoying it, you know. Think, "Oh, this is fantastic." Like anywhere else in the world, once you're famous for life. But in England, when you're famous, there's only one way to go after that. They'll try and put you down and down, you know. So I have the battles with them, you know. And sometimes you get tired, like just trying to keep the wrong people happy. And not the right people
it's
happy.
a topic we speak about quite a lot, Simon, isn't it? The media attention.
I do. I agree.
And this habit in this country of putting people down. Sometimes you didn't help yourself, Paul.
No.
That.
Well, I subscribe to that view. I subscribe to that view that in this country we like to build people up so we can whittle them down. It's a country that looks at people with envy rather than admiration sometimes. And sometimes there's a reason for that, and sometimes it's not justified, but I think culturally it's not something that I enjoy. Paul was, to some extent, the architect of his own downfall in certain respects, but... and it attracted certain people, like I made the point earlier on, and I'm not trying to be controversial. I think when I watched Paul and looked at him, I always thought, I wish someone would look after him better. not just because he's entitled to it, but because he probably needs it. He needs proper looking after, and this is not the right kind of influences, and that was my big thing for you.
Yeah, he's right, you know, because if you look at today's players, they've got everything on a play for them. You know, I went to the Tottenham training ground when it just had sort of got built, and there's this guy, honestly, he was huge. He was about 6'6", full of muscle. Now, when you must be the fitness coach, are you? He went, no. I said, what do you do then for Tottenham?
Security.
Yeah, he says if the wife calls us up at 2:00 in the morning, the baby's crying, I'll go and look after the baby. I went, wow. He says, if they need shopping, I have to do the shopping for them. I said, what else do they do? And then the players like park the car up and go walk 100 yards where we would, and they've got buggy cars. So they park the car up, then sit in the buggy car, and then get taken to like 50 yards. And the buggy car is like, wow, how easy it is for them.
Yeah.
And I thought that's why they would struggle, because they've got everything on a play for them. We were played. You know, we had to graft for everything we had. You know, my gym was at Newcastle. It was a little bowling hut. We was being there with just, you know, little weights in there and the scruffy weights and stuff like that.
Paul, what are we now since you finished playing? 20, 22, 23 years?
Botox.
Since you stopped playing football?
Oh, yeah. I mean, 37, yeah. 21, 22 years, yeah.
And have you come to terms with the loss? Because listening to you, I don't think you have.
No. I find it hard to watch it.
With the loss, because it is. Tell us about when you stopped playing.
Yeah.
And I think with you though, it was times 10, wasn't it? Because of the notoriety you had.
Yeah, because
the
that was
superstar that you became, and I think you enjoyed it probably too much.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. You know, like you said, everything was on a play for us, you know. Like if I went on the TV and said I'd love a guitar, I'd go home and there'd be like 3 or 4 guitars outside my door. It's like, wow, almighty. And, you know.
You also talked about you find it difficult to watch current day player. Because I actually watch it now with joy.
Yeah, do you?
Whereas for years, it was difficult to watch because we couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And it's hard to watch someone doing what you enjoy most of all.
Well, you couldn't do that much against me, could you? Really? I mean, I destroyed us quite a few times.
Luckily, you went off to Italy.
I thought I was going with the second.
Well done.
Dude, so Dave Seaman had no chance, bless him. I ruined that fella.
Bless him.
But now, I mean, you know, the big games were intense. I didn't really enjoy them because it was tough. But you know, I did score a couple of goals. But for me, it's like I can't see a crap player getting paid 300 grand. You can't even try.
Here we go again, talking about a wage.
Up a bag of cement. It just drives me nuts. But you know, England. You talk about England now. We've got some.
Who do you see in that England team?
Well, I think
it reminds you of yourself.
We keep the ball at the back. I like Rashford. I just wish he would smile now and again. It winds me up. Like when you score, smile at least. Because,
enjoy.
You know, because...
Roy Keane said he hates him smiling.
He says he got a bloke that's got 3 kids and he takes them... It costs a lot of money. Then they all want England shirts. It costs money. They want food. Costs money. And then he probably gets home about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning after driving home, where the players are back home at 11:30, getting massive wages. Now, if you're going to score, please at least celebrate. Like,
have fun.
I think with England team, especially last year or the day before, you had so many just individual players.
Yeah.
You know, the Bellingham one, and then Rashford. It was.
What about now? Do you think they're capable of winning it?
Yeah, well, if the keeper stops having as much touches as the rest of the players, I just, you know, it's all about passing nowadays. You never see any player like, I'd love to see a player get the ball and say, have a go at him, man, go on, just two players, because, you know...
Cole Palmer does that though, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does, yeah. Yeah, he's
He
unbelievable.
bucks the
That
trend, doesn't
guy's-
he? He's
yeah.
like, okay, I know we've got to pass this, but I'm going to run.
Yeah, and I like Foden. He'll have a little go. You know, I like him. We've got quite a few individual players, but I mean, I watched them the other night. I didn't think it was any Star Trek. I wasn't on, so I decided to watch the England game. So
It strikes me you don't really enjoy watching much football.
No, I just
Star Trek wasn't on, so I have to watch England.
I think it's just the way that I played, you know. Like I said, some of the stuff I did on the pitch, and I'm thinking, how did I do that? But you look at some of the players, and I'm like, just have a go. You know, it's 0-0, it's 5 minutes to go. Just have a, and then I'm just keeping it at the back, and it winds me up. And I can't attack it.
Listen, at the end of all this, and the book's out, and many people will buy it and read it. I don't know how to phrase. How do you want fans, just not just England fans, football fans everywhere, people in general, to remember Paul Gascoigne?
Shout out to Paul Gascoigne. Shout out to Paul Gascoigne.
How do you want them to think of you?
How do you want people to think of you? Thanks, Nat.
Just a really, really nice, genuine guy. You know, that would, you know, I'd do anything for anyone.
Ruthless on the pitch.
Ruthless, yeah, ruthless. I just knew I was good enough. I wasn't bothered how I played again. I just knew when I was, if I was on the ball, I just knew beforehand. I just knew how good I was going to be. Like, I used to be in the tunnel against players and look at them and just say, mate, I remember seeing the Port of Sicily guy, poor guy. I went, yeah, mate, I just heard your headlines. I says, and welcome to your worst nightmare, mate. Bless you. I bagged in 2 goals, and then after the game, I couldn't resist it. I just took my boots off, went in their dressing room and gave them, yeah, mate, one day you'll play like that.
Brilliant.
He said that not long ago, I think, yeah.
Oh, Gaza, listen. Now, you know that iconic picture of Vinnie Jones and you?
Yeah.
When he looks as if he's squeezing your crown jewels.
Yeah.
Was he? Or were you hamming it up?
Well, I nearly lost my family allowance, put it that way. Yeah, Vinnie, he meant it, put it that way, honestly. Yeah.
Gaza, what can we say? Thank you so much for being with us live.
My pleasure.
On the show this
week. Good to see Martin and Simon himself, to be fair.
Jim.
Wow, Paul Gascoigne, funny guy. His book is out. Shout out to the guy. But again, fair assessment of what he said. But you know, they just have to mention again the same guy, the same name. You know.
Tuchel, Charlie Austin had.
And here we go.
Rashford, right, to become one of the best.
Another segment. I could be here all day, man, just watching these people going through it.
Tonight, Rashford is.
This is the guys as Sport.
At Barcelona, and Tuchel challenged him to reach his full potential, which he.
Now the headline is Marcus Rashford world class? Question mark debate.
Here's exactly what Tuchel has said. He can be one of the best in the world because the finishing and the quality I see in training with both legs and his head, he is explosive. Tuchel says he's fast, he's strong in the air. So for him, there are no limits, but the numbers don't reach the potential, Charlie. Tuchel says he needs to push himself with goal involvements. He knows that from me. The limit for him is very, very high, maybe higher than it is for others. He's still young enough to make these decisions because otherwise he might be disappointed in 10 years with what he could have done. And that's the point, isn't it? Look, Rashford has also been talking about his form, and he's hinted that the problems at Manchester United have affected him. Rashford said, I feel like I've been an inconsistent environment for a very long time. So it's even more difficult to be consistent. But I completely agree. I think consistency is what I need to bring into my game, and I'm looking to do that. I want to be at my best, not sometimes, but as often as possible. When I am at my very best, I really enjoy everything about the sport. Charlie, what do you make of those comments? I mean, firstly, picking up from what Marcus Rashford has just said there in terms of his environment not being consistent. I mean, is a footballer's environment ever consistent?
I'll just pause that right there. I'll just pause that right there because I think what TT said, Thomas Tuchel said, is probably the most fair assessment I've ever heard from a manager describing or talking about their player, one of their star players, and he didn't say anything that will grab headlines. He didn't say anything that will berate, that will make him feel underappreciated. He didn't feel anything that will make him feel like, why is he talking about me like that? Why is he coming for me? No, he didn't do that. It was a fair and how would I put it? It was just a fair assessment of Marcus Rashford's time, so far at this age. No headlines, no nothing. He just said, you know what? Just be consistent, mate. And you reach your full potential. You don't want to regret it in 10 years' time. He didn't criticize him. He didn't put him down. He didn't say anything that would make him feel like, oh, nah, I don't want to play for this guy. Everything he said there, I've seen him play. I've seen him train every day on the pitch. I've seen his finishes. I've seen what he does in training. If he does that in games in real time, then it will be world class. That's what Thomas Tuchel is saying there, and Marcus took that really well. But that's the best assessment I've heard of a coach or manager talks about their own player.
Because the turnover of managers, but picking up on his bit where he says, when I'm enjoying my sport, but well, if you're at the top of your game, of course you're going to enjoy it. I mean, the biggest thing is, for me, is when you look at Marcus Rashford, we have this conversation for years and years and years about consistency. Well, you can only control what you can. And being on the pitch, putting the ball in the back of the net, providing assists, giving 100%, that's what you can control. When the manager comes in and there's a constant change, that's something you can't control. So we always have this conversation, it's always about the environment at Manchester United, it's the environment. Hang on a minute, sometimes the players got to put their hands up and say, am I doing enough?
And going back to, look, the key point really from Thomas Tuchel, the fact that he has come out and says that he has the, inverted commas, potential to be one of the best in the world. One, why are we still talking about potential with a guy that's nearly 28 years old? Two, why has Tuchel felt the need to make this public and make everyone aware that he's had this conversation with Marcus Rashford? We seem to know so much about what's going on with Marcus Rashford and all these chats more than any other player.
I feel like that with Marcus Rashford, any chats or anything that goes against him, whether he's his discipline record, being late or does really well, every conversation seems to come out about him. We don't need to know what Thomas Tuchel has said about us, obviously answer to the question, but I think we all know that he's got every right years ago to have the potential to be the best player in the world, but unfortunately the potential side of it is now gone. Like you say, he's 27 coming 28, his next birthday, so that becomes a different one, and almost it's bypassed that. We want to be seeing it now. Well, he's in his prime.
How good is he? How gifted is he? Marcus Rashford? When he wants to be.
Yeah, when he wants to be, once you turn it on. He's ultra fast, he can put the ball in the back of the net, assist, he can be a game changer, but for club and country. The argument is, can he continuously do it? And the problem is, the answer ultimately has been no, because Barcelona, he's playing really well at the moment. Aston Villa, did okay at times, and then Manchester United, we've all seen it week in, week out that it hasn't really happened.
And look,
week in, week out. Shut up.
And reading between the lines, Charlie, we're looking, aren't we, at the managers that he's had. Look, you had a million managers during your time in the Premier League and the Championship and in Australia and wherever. You look at when he broke into the team under Louis van Gaal, see if I get the order right here, and then in comes obviously you've got Mourinho, you've got Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Ralph Rangnick, you've got Thomas Tuchel, Unai Emery, a whole different styles and what's being asked of it.
Of course, but he can't control that. That's what I'm getting at. He can't control the changeover of managers all the time at Manchester United. All he can control is when he's on the pitch, and if he's asked to do something by them, he try and do it to his best of ability, or they adapt to him also. If that's the type of player, he's a game changer, he's a match winner, isn't he, Marcus Rashford? Let's be honest, that's what he is. So the manager should adapt to him as well as it works vice versa. But 9 times out of 10, we're having these conversations because he's not adapting to the manager. And then we always having these conversations about potential. He's 27, 28. When a fit flying Marcus Rashford is at his pomp, he's going to be in the England team. Like there's no argument about that. But he can't continuously do it.
So ultimately, what you're saying is potential now is only down to him. And look, I kind of get it from Tuchel in the sense that there's a lot of players who you want to just almost shake when you watch the telly and when you hear things about them, just to say, look, you haven't got long left doing this. This is his time, right? If he's going to fulfil this potential we keep talking about, it is in the next 2 or 3 years.
The argument to it, though, mate, is that you can only shake it so many times. You can only shake Marcus Rashford so many times and have these deep, in-depth conversations, say, right, you need to do this again and again and again. And if you're not doing it, then it falls on deaf ears. That's the problem, and that's why we've had that conversation about Marcus Rashford. When he is flying, he's unreal, and
You've got average players talking about potential.
Talent do that, but can he have the talent and then perform week in, week out? He's answering it at the moment at Barcelona, but he hasn't before.
We want to see it. And I say we collectively, just football fans, want to see the 30 goal a season Marcus Rashford, don't we? And I'm sure if you're
they'll build you up and just to bring you down. That's what this country is, man. I hope he doesn't come back to Manchester United. I hope he doesn't come back to England.
Right, for more on this, we can bring in our football correspondent, Mr. Rob Dorset, who's with the England squad for tonight's World Cup qualifier in Latvia. Rob, a very good morning to you, my friend. So look, we're talking about potential at the age of 27, Rob.
Have you not watched who won the Ballon d'Or?
Are we still doing that with Marcus Rashford?
Did you not see the Ballon d'Or winner? How old was it?
Chat between you two, by the way, and I concur with an awful lot of it. It's a conversation we've had for an awful long time about him, haven't we? I mean, let me just remind you of when Marcus Rashford broke onto the scene, because it was February 2016. It was 9.5 years ago when he first blasted onto the scene. And that was because there were some major injury concerns with Manchester United's more senior strikers. That's why he got the opportunity. And he always starts very, very well. It was a blistering start. He scored 2 goals in his Europa League debut. That was his first senior game for Manchester United. Scored 2 in that against Midtjylland. Then 3 days later, he scored 2 in his first Premier League game against Arsenal. He scored on his England debut, which was later that year in 2016, in May. So he always starts very, very well. What seems to happen is there's a drop-off with Marcus Rashford. And I think there are question marks about why that is the case. And I think Thomas Tuchel has been quite clever here. I think he's done it deliberately. I expect Marcus Rashford to start the game on the left wing for England tonight, and I think it's Thomas Tuchel giving him a bit of a rocket and say, this is your chance. I want to see what you can do, because Anthony Gordon has played there the other day and played very, very well. I want you to step up. We know what Thomas Tuchel thinks of Marcus Rashford, because it was made clear to me from sources around the camp that he was one of the first people that Thomas Tuchel called when he got the England job to say, you are very, very important to me. And so I think what I question is, there's a bit of carrot and stick here, and I think Thomas Tuchel has done a bit of both. I think he's put his arm around Marcus Rashford behind the scenes, and I think he's now giving a bit of stick to say, you're better than you're proving. Go and prove to me and to the world how good you can be. Look, Charlie, you've been worked under so many top managers. Go on.
So I completely agree with everything you're saying there. But one thing I don't understand is why we have these sort of public rockets up the backside, and why we need them with Marcus Rashford. Look, we know about how many times Marcus Rashford has been late at various football clubs over the last few seasons. At Manchester United, head of a Manchester derby, even sort of disciplinary issues already at Barcelona. We don't hear about that from other players. Why do we need these public incentives, and why does he need them?
Because he gives you guys the views.
And he's quite a sensitive character. And again, Charlie, I suspect a lot of the players he's played with in the past, there are some players who respond better to a carrot, there are some players who respond better to a stick. And maybe Marcus Rashford is one of those who needs an arm around the shoulder, who needs to be coaxed, who needs to be reminded all the time how good he is. And shown a bit of love, because that's the impression I get from talking to people close to Marcus Rashford. He didn't feel he got that at Manchester United. And there'll be a load of fans out there, I totally understand, Manchester United fans in particular, who turn around and say, you're being paid an absolute fortune. You're one of the best in the world. You're playing at the biggest football club in Europe, bar Real Madrid and maybe a couple of others. Why do you need that? Why should you need that motivation? But players are individuals, and they're all a bit different. And Charlie will know better than anybody what it's like in a dressing room. He'll have had teammates that some need a kick up the backside, some need an arm around the shoulder. Marcus Rashford is very much one of those who needs an arm around the shoulder. And I think this is Thomas Tuchel doing that, trying to say, give him a bit of love and say, you are very important for us, and you can be very important for us going forward. I mean, Charlie, what do you make of that? I just think the carrot and the stick thing.
Yeah, I'm
players
with you.
respond differently to different, depending on their characters, don't they?
No, of course they do, Rob. And I think he's had the backing, though. We can say about Manchester United, but all the fans backed him. The team backed him and bid him.
Shut up, Charlie.
Come on, Marcus. Let's get back. How do we get you back to your best of flying and helping the team? I just think we're having this conversation about him because for how well he's done on the pitch.
Well, he's not a rabbit. How many carrots does he need?
Yeah, but how well he's done on the pitch and how well he's performed, and then it becomes a frustration side of it from players. Like, how can we get Marcus Rashford back to his best, and how can we get him there helping us, helping the team? Yes, individually, but ultimately it's a team game. And when Marcus Rashford is flying, he's helping the team and the rest of everybody connected with club and country. For me, Marcus Rashford, when he's fit and flying, he's going to be in the England team. But everything gets documented out into the world. Sometimes I feel like a lot of things should be kept close in house. So an arm around the shoulder, if that is one, why is it everywhere out documented and we're commenting on it now?
I guess because he's so good as well, isn't he? This is why we care so much, because we know as England fans and Manchester United fans out there, maybe they've given up on him now, even though they still own him, know and knew how good Marcus Rashford could be. I mean, look, almost from an England perspective, Rob, do you get the feeling that the fact Tuchel has, because I did say to Charlie earlier, he didn't need to say this, and you're saying no, he's probably felt the need to come out with this story to incentivise Rashford even more and to give him that proverbial arm around the shoulder. But do we, reading between the lines then, think that he is going to be, one, definitely in the squad now, the fact that he said this, and in his starting 11, a huge part for the World Cup?
I don't know whether he'll be in the starting 11, but I fully expect him to go to the World Cup. As I say, he was one of the first people that Thomas Tuchel called when he got the job to say how important he is for him. And I think what you have to remember as well is when it comes to a tournament squad, versatility and adaptability is really, really important. And we know that Marcus Rashford can play centre forward. And he's done that for Manchester United no end of times to great effect. And so I think he offers something a bit different. Yes, Anthony Gordon can play up top. Yes, Jared Bowen can play up top, but I think Marcus Rashford is more of a natural number 9 and can be used in that role. And I think Thomas Tuchel will only take 2 strikers to North America next summer, and I suspect he'll take Marcus Rashford as well as somebody who he can use as a 9 or he can use on the wide as well. But I think what's interesting here is I'm trying to second guess and understand what Thomas Tuchel is doing here, because yes, he's put an arm round Marcus Rashford here and tried to give him a bit of a boost. But that's selfish, because he wants Marcus Rashford to be firing for him and wants him to come forward for the reasons I've just described. He's done exactly the same with Bukayo Saka. We asked the England manager the other day about Bukayo Saka, the fact that he's become the Arsenal player who scored more goals than any other before him in an England shirt, 13 goals. And Thomas Tuchel went, 30? Is that all he's got? That's not good enough. We expect more from Bukayo Saka. That's, again, a deliberate act from the England manager to try and put a rocket up Bukayo Saka's backside, saying, I want more from you, don't rest on your laurels. The contradictory bit here, though, is Jude Bellingham. And I know we talk about him an awful lot, and we've talked about him a lot in this particular camp because he's been left out. Thomas Tuchel has put his arm around Bukayo Saka. He's put his arm around Marcus Rashford. He said, you're really important to us. I want you to do better. He said to Jude Bellingham, keep your distance. I don't want you in this squad. You're not part of it as far as I'm concerned. And I think there's a bit of a contradiction there.
Yeah, but
I
Rob,
suspect it's deliberate.
Rob,
I'm not sure what he's trying to achieve with that. Go on.
On that, because we're talking about players how they react differently. So maybe Marcus Rashford, Bukayo Saka need the arm around the shoulder, and on the flip side of it, he's going, right, Jude Bellingham, go and show me. Stay away, arm's length from the squad, but go and show me why you should be in this squad. Go and show me your brilliance, because I don't think I need to put an arm around you, because you've got broad shoulders, you can carry the weight of the world and the country on them shoulders. So go and now show me. Whereas Marcus Rashford, Bukayo Saka probably need to be told how good they are, etc., etc.
This should have been the topic of the poll. Would you prefer a rocket up your backside, a carrot, a stick, or an arm around your shoulder? Charlie Austin, what kind of player were you?
I didn't mind a rocket, me. I didn't mind a rocket.
Yeah. I mean, look, in all seriousness, will we guys be talking about Marcus Rashford? Let's just say, for example, he does come back to the Premier League after the stint at Barcelona. Will we be talking about Marcus Rashford as a Premier League great by the time he hangs up his boots, Charlie? Because we should be with the guy with this talent.
No, and I think the sad thing is I don't think we will. I think it'd been potential, like you say, it had everything in front of him, the road to go and achieve great things, and unfortunately, it didn't happen. That's where we're at now.
I agree. I think Thomas Tuchel is right. There has been a massive underachievement from Marcus Rashford, despite all he's achieved in his career so far. He has something extra special, and I think Tuchel sees that and wants to try and prompt that out of him. He is 27, he's at the peak of his powers right now, and maybe we've seen him start the season incredibly well for Barcelona. Maybe this is the move that he needed. Maybe he needed to get out of Manchester. It's all he'd ever known was being in Manchester. So a fresh start in a fresh city, in a fresh country, with a new manager in charge who rates him very, very highly, could be exactly what he needs. And maybe Thomas Tuchel is feeding a little bit on that. But I share Charlie's view that a player of his ability, it would be a travesty if he doesn't go on to great things from here. And you look at what he's won. He's won 2 FA Cups, he's won a couple of Community Shields, he's never won the Premier League. All right, part of that is because of him being at Manchester United in probably their lowest point in their history. But it would be disappointing if he doesn't do something brilliant from here. Thomas Tuchel is trying to give him the motivation. But as I say, I think he may well start the game against Latvia here in Riga tonight. So let's see how Marcus Rashford responds to that rocket carrot stick up the backside around his shoulder from Thomas Tuchel.
Well, we are sending you 2 or 4 arms, Rob, around the shoulders from the studio here. Thank you very much, Rob Dorset, ahead of the England game against Latvia. I think, look, just finally on that, I think he needs 2 good seasons back to back, doesn't he? Because he's never done that after that 30-goal season. Rob, thank you.
Fuck you, man. Yo, these guys are embarrassing, bro. Like I said before, language matters. The way they spoke about Gascoigne and the other guys that are retired, the language they use is completely different to what they're describing here. So for me, language matters, and these people are so ungrateful. I'm just glad it's off Manchester.
Page has got covered then. What's happening, Sam?
Mainly dominated by Rashford, really. Tuchel saying that Rashford, it's his time to shine, and that the forward has potential to be the best in the world. But he's got to push himself and prove himself, whether he starts or whether he comes off the bench. And it's not a question of talent, he's saying, but a question of if he can and if he will. Mixed opinions on this one. I think a few people are thinking, is it the right thing to come out and say that about your players? Will it affect them going into it? But for me, I think Tuchel's straight up. You know what you're going to get. You know what he expects. No messing about. At least you know where you stand.
100%. I'm with you. I think Marcus Rashford would have been living on a different planet if he wasn't aware that this was his opportunity and he has to grab it with both hands. I think he will know that, but I actually think it's a wee clever tactical move by Thomas Tuchel, just to let him know publicly, so that there's a bit more, if it's possible, a little bit more pressure on him to produce. Yeah, I think that's dead right. I mean, he's sharp as a tack, and I think he uses press conferences and things to get his message, reinforce his message to the players. I think that's exactly what he's doing with Rashford. Make sure he's absolutely on his toes.
Do you think he'll crumble? Do you think he'll step up to the task, Rashford, or do you think he'll go the other way?
Well, against Latvia, look, Koisty and I go up there and we should still win.
Look, I think it would be unforgivable for him not to give it everything he's got. I mean, I think he has to. I mean, the position he is in right now, from where he was a year ago,
You've never thought, would you?
No. He must be pinching himself. And if he does not do his level best, which he will do, to grab that opportunity with both hands, then it would be nothing short of madness, Sam.
Yeah, I think Tuchel will be good for Rashford, I think. The same as Flick. It seems that they both, no nonsense, straight up, very strict. I mean, it's only recently, isn't it, that Rashford got benched because he was a bit late for a meeting.
Yes.
And it seems that is the side of his career that holds him back, just that unorganised, a little bit flaky in organisation.
Where he is now, what an opportunity.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, and I would say in his defence, by the way, if Marcus Rashford's late for a meeting, it's a back page headline. If, somebody else is late for a meeting, not meant.
See, when I was playing for Team GB, if you were on time, you were late. And our coach, Danny, he used to put a chair by the door. And we always used to take the mick saying, if you come in during the chair, he wasn't happy. He had a face like thunder. So I've always been on time. You're late. Got to arrive 2 minutes earlier. But anyway, for the sake of the country, let's hope that he certainly steps up.
Yes.
Right, elsewhere, cricket. Ian Botham accused England of arrogance over Ashes preparations. Ooh. So it looks like England will play a single 3-day warm-up versus the travelling England Lions before walking out for their first test.
Gooch and Ian Botham coming out, then I would have to say.
Right, okay, so, I mean, like I said, it's nearly 12 to 15 episode of them just talking about Marcus Rashford. And he generate the views, he generate the traction, he generate everything. Like, even myself now, just having this, I'm not saying, I can get the same number of views as these guys from Sky and Talksport and Goldbridge and them guys, but it still gives you some sort of views. It still gives you some sort of numbers, and it's a fact. You mention his name, you get the numbers. I just want to see what Matt Goldbridge said there, because he's another one. That that's got an opinion on Marcus before he left United, but it gives you the numbers, man. It gives you the numbers, and you just need to give the numbers on the pitch. And here's Mac, what he's got to say.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. It's Mark Goldbridge.
Welcome to the United Stands. I'm Mark Goldbridge, and this is your latest Manchester United news.
This guy's so dramatic, man. Okay, now.
And does Marcus Rashford have it right? He's spoken today about the inconsistent environment at Manchester United and how that's had an impact on his career. And lots of people have had their say, saying, well, I don't think it was the Glazers or Amorim or anybody else or Ten Hag that made him go out in Belfast. I don't think it was the Glazers or United that made him walk around and not bother turning up at Manchester United. But actually, I think he's right. Now, somebody said to me that this was posted on the ITV website or Twitter account, and it got deleted, but we all saw it before it did. Basically, what Rashford said was, I feel like I've been in an inconsistent environment for a very, very long time, so it's even more difficult
to be consistent.
I think consistency is what I need to bring into my game, and I'm looking to do that. So some people would say, well, look, Gary Neville said this last week. There's too many blame shifters at Manchester United. When he was playing, that wasn't a Manchester United player. We've heard from Robin van Persie what he said about his to his kid about being a professional footballer. You don't look at anybody else but yourself when it comes to when things aren't going well. So look, we can understand those mentalities, but I actually think sometimes you've got to be a little bit fair. I actually do think that there's a strong element of truth to what Marcus Rashford may be implying, that the amount of change and how badly Man United has been run has not been conducive to him playing his best football. I actually do agree with it, but you're going to have to bear with me for a minute, because I do agree with it. I want to get your opinions on it, because I don't think it's as simple as Marcus Rashford saying, you know, Man United's a very inconsistent environment, that's why I didn't play well, and now I'm at Barcelona and I am playing well, and it's Man United's fault. I don't think it's that simple, but I definitely think it's layered. And my question is, well, we do blame the players, but yesterday we blamed the owners. In fact, most of us blame both. Most of us say good players come to Man United and end up being bad players because of the toxic culture. So why would
100%.
Rashford not be right when he says or implies that he struggled for consistency at Manchester United because of the environment he was playing in? I think you have to take that on board to a certain extent, because I do agree that this is the Glazer rot. This has been, 10 years of this, longer than this, and I don't think it's a very good environment for success. I mean, it's very difficult to find a player that's been consistently successful at Manchester United. I think Bruno Fernandes was for a long time, but even he's succumbed to it. But I think the thing where you probably do raise a good point is that this Glazer rot, this acknowledgement that Rashford might be right if he actually is saying that, is that this environment doesn't breed good players. I sort of agree, because we've recruited badly, we've sacked and recruited wrong and right managers, we're in a lot of debt, we haven't been in a title race for a very long time, we're not really a top 4 team anymore. So if you do sit back there, whether you're Marcus Rashford, Harry Maguire, Bruno Fernandes, at some point in your career and say, the reason we didn't succeed was because of the environment we played in, I would say to a certain extent, I sort of do agree, because I can't criticise the ownership, criticise the way the club's been run, and then go, you're talking shit, criticising the thing I criticise. But I also think there's a hidden gem here, that part of the Glazer rot is recruiting players with the wrong mentality. And I would say that Marcus Rashford is a player that doesn't have the right mentality for Manchester United, like everybody else. Because, as I say, I think that there are players out there that would still put in consistent performances at Manchester United. We just have never really recruited or developed the right people. We have a blame shifting culture at Manchester United. We have players that go missing at Manchester United. We have players that are weak mentally at Manchester United. And we have players that are very, very, very inconsistent at Manchester United. I don't believe every player at Man United would fall into that category. Cristiano Ronaldo was here for his second phase, scored 17, 18 Premier League goals, and was very, very, very consistent. Now, Cristiano Ronaldo is one of the greatest players that's ever played the game, but it does still show you that there are certain mentalities that would still defeat the toxic culture that exists at Manchester United. And I think we've created and nurtured a bunch of people who are weak. So I agree with Rashford. I agree with him that the culture at Man United is inconsistent and it needs to change. But I also say that players like Marcus Rashford clearly weren't the right players for this job. Marcus Rashford will be a good player at Barcelona, where he's got better players around him and a winning culture and a determination to win. He will be better in that environment because it's more straightforward. Manchester United is a rebuild and you need certain personalities. Rashford is not one of those personalities. Anthony's not one of those personalities. And the list goes on and on and on. But two things can be right. I think it would be wrong to just go, well, you went out on the piss in Belfast, you were walking around, you didn't have any problems playing well when you first burst on the scene, you didn't have any problems playing well when you were going to get a new contract. You can say all those negative things, but it doesn't make him not right saying that Man United is a toxic culture and we have a massive problem with inconsistency, because we do. I can spend a minute on Rashford and make it about Rashford. That wasn't really my point. I just found what he said was quite interesting. But look, obviously, he's a fair weather player. When he's on it, brilliant. When he's off it, not very good. And despite the inconsistencies that he talks about, there's been times in that inconsistency that he was very good. When he first burst on the scene, we were as inconsistent as we are now. he was still a brilliant player. When he was looking for a new contract, we were as inconsistent as we are now, and he still had a good 6-7 months. When he was out on the piss in Belfast and not, which he's never really acknowledged or apologised for, we were as inconsistent as we are now. I don't think Erik ten Hag gave him the night off to go on the piss. When he was walking around on the pitch not putting the effort in, we were as inconsistent as we are now. So I think players need to look at themselves. I'm tired of Man United players, former or current, blaming situations. It's not my mentality. It's probably not many of yours. I think you've got to look in the mirror. People say we need a midfielder. I've said for years, I actually think we need to pop down at IKEA and get a load of mirrors and, give them to every player and say, look in this every morning, because that's the person responsibility for your own destiny.
Oh my God.
I completely agree with that. But I've got to say, I saw more positives than negatives in what Marcus Rashford had to say. Talk to me. I did. I already know what Marcus Rashford is. I'm very happy that he's at Barcelona. I hope he does well. I hope he stays there. I don't want him back at Manchester United. I think we've run that race and it's over. So I could list off all the things I've said before why I think it's time to part ways, but I actually do agree with him that the inconsistencies at Manchester United don't make for the correct environment. I do agree with that. Whatever anybody else says, I do. Have the Glazers done anything positive during their ownership, says Rajaf, and do you think this under them in spite of them? Yeah, 100% Rajaf. I don't think the Glazers have...
I mean, he just said everything I said at the beginning of this stream. Literally, the only thing that's been consistent at Manchester United is the chopping and changing of managers and the signing of, semi-retired players that comes for the final paycheck. The rest of it, there is no competition. There was never a competition for Marcus Rashford to compete with. There was never a competition for Bruno to compete with. There was never a competition for, each position. There was never a competition for it. So how are you going to challenge yourself? But at Barca, there's competitions everywhere. You have to make sure when you're on the pitch, you deliver. So you don't sit on the bench again. But United, because there was no competition, everyone, you sign players like Casemiro, Cavani, Zlatan. We signed them, we hyped them up for the name so much because of what they've done elsewhere. We forgot, hold on a minute, fuck what you've done elsewhere. You're not doing that at United. I don't care about what you've done at Real Madrid. I don't care about what you did at Inter Milan, AC Milan, PSG, all these clubs. I don't give a fuck about none of that. The same way I'm saying I don't give a fuck about what Amorim achieved at Sporting. I don't care. If you can't do it here, no one should give a fuck about these people. So the recruitment at United contributed to this downfall of this football team on the pitch, because there was never a competition. We're not signing any fresh legs, any top players when they in their peak, not when they're semi-retired. To compete with these guys. Whilst as Barca signed a 26 or 27-year-old Marcus Rashford. Now he's putting pressure on the younger generation coming up. So you know what? It's not ready to retire. It's only 26, 27. He's going to give you competition. So everybody else around him, including himself, will have to push twice as hard to stay in the team. Not just him. Everyone around him will have to push extra. But anyway, back to my original point. You will never make me hate Marcus Rashford again. You've tried that. We succumbed to that at the beginning. But even Matt Goldbridge now saying he agrees with him. He was one of the people that was driving the hate train towards Marcus, to the point that Marcus had to call him out on Twitter and say, "You lied, mate. Don't talk about me." And that's where the hate train started. And now he's saying, I agree with him. It's 2 episodes now he's posted about Marcus, where he's saying, no, he's right. He's not said anything that we as fans have not said before. We're saying the Glazers are shit. We're saying the same thing. Ronaldo has said the same thing. The ownership is shit. The facilities are shit. The environment is inconsistent. We agree with Ronaldo. So why are top Reds all of a sudden rattled? But I love it when they get rattled by Marcus Rashford. I love it because this the third inconsistent thing, actually, let me make it number 3, because we've got the chopping and changing of managers, we've got the signing of semi-retired players. The third thing that's so inconsistent at Manchester United is top Reds. Fucking top Reds, so inconsistent. You wouldn't want to do anything for them. You wouldn't want to play around them, because they hate their own players, they hate their own club, they hate their own fans. They're basically telling you they go to football matches, or your armchair fan. Fuck you. Nobody gives a fuck. People pay for their Sky subscriptions or ESPN or whatever. They pay to watch United play. So you're not better than those people just because you go to Old Trafford to watch football. So shut the fuck up from now on and stop telling us that people don't go to football matches, or you're based in Africa, or you're based in America, you know, all that stereotype shit. And that's what I said to United fans. Probably, this is a fact, it's not probably, we had the most arrests for racism in the Premier League. United fans, they were the most arrested football fans, top Reds, when it comes to people being racist towards their own players or towards fans, other fans coming to watch the game. If you check the stats, it's online, you can see it. So the top Reds, they're not good people. There are a few good people around them, but the majority of them are disgusting. I don't want to be around them. Even when I go to watch football matches, I don't even talk to them. I know them, but I don't speak to them. When I go to Old Trafford, I don't want to speak to you. I just want to watch the game and get out. Because when you listen to what they say around you, to those certain players on the pitch, mate, it's disgusting. You have to challenge some of them. And this is why sometimes now when I go to watch football, I'll try and choose a seat or a section or a stand where I feel like there is more family people there, like grown-ups, like where you don't hear a lot of cursing or name calling or saying stupid things. I stay away from certain, stands. Like, you just don't want to be around it, because it's gonna get you rattled. But I'm just glad Marcus rattled them again. Go Marcus, we wish you all the best and all the success in the world. All the success, mate, and they can't stop you because you're a bit different, bro. You're a bit different. Keep them rattled, keep scoring the goals. We're back watching you again this weekend at Barca. We're here for it. We're gonna watch you. We're not gonna stop watching you. And even they hate you so much that they can't help themselves, but they keep watching you wherever you go. They watched you at Aston Villa, they watch you again at Barcelona this weekend, and they watch you play for England again. They watch you go to the World Cup, and hopefully you guys can deliver the World Cup for them. And just because they delivered the World Cup doesn't mean they're gonna love you. They'll still hate you. Your biggest haters are the people that watches you the most. That's a fact. And but like I said, you can never make me hate Marcus Rashford again. End of. And with that being said, thank you for watching, thank you for liking, thank you for subscribing, thank you for supporting this channel. I try to be as fair as possible with every other player, and we can talk about other players in the future, but for me, my stand is, you can never make me hate Marcus Rashford. I don't care what he's done at Manchester United, right? The fact that you guys turn on him for the same reasons, you hyping other players. Language matters. Be careful what you say about certain people and the language you use to describe them, because we know you lot are good at making other people look good in public. Gaza only have challenges off the field. Marcus' behavior is appalling. Goes out on the piece. Gaza used to go out on the piece every day. I'm talking about Paul Gascoigne, and there were other players as well. They used to go out drinking all the time, but you never hear that people talk about them in the way they talk about Marcus. His behavior, his attitude, his lifestyle, his blah blah blah. Gaza had challenges off the pitch. Marcus used to go out on the piece. They were both out drinking, But for Gaza, they were challenges. But for Marcus, he was out on the piss. Make that make sense, you know? Hold on a minute, where's this? Where is my super suit? Sorry, I just missed that. Are you still around? Yo, make sure you subscribe to this channel, you know. Make sure you like you like and subscribe. Click the whatever notification button you can see in front of you. What I'll be doing as well, I'll be doing some competition coming up soon. I'll be giving away some, vouchers so you can spend them to where you want. We'll be giving away some trainers as well, whatever we've got. So subscribe, you don't miss out. And also, very soon we'll be able to hold some competition outside on the pitch. If you're around Salford, feel free to come around. Where is your super suit? I don't know what you're talking about. Your superstar. But thank you for watching again. You mentioned Rashford. You get the views. Super sticker, super chat. So with that being said, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. I've actually skipped breakfast today just to do this. I forgot I've not had breakfast. Wow. What time is it now? 2:30. Wow. I need to get off. Thank you for watching. Take care, family. Without